If you're a real Warriors fan living in the US, this video is for you. From coast to coast, America is buzzing after last night's game. Draymond Green just reminded the whole country why he runs the West. The NBA world is buzzing tonight, and the shockwaves aren't just about the games being played on the court. Something unexpected has unfolded, and once again, Draymond Green finds himself right in the middle of the storm. But this time, it isn't about a technical foul, it isn't about a flagrant, and it isn't about one of those fiery moments that have defined his career. Instead, Draymond Green is defending someone outside the usual Golden State Warriors spotlight. He is standing up for the owner of the Seattle Valkyries, a franchise that has just faced a devastating playoff collapse that left fans heartbroken, critics piling on, and the media ready to pounce. Yet Draymond, never shy with his words, has decided to step forward with a defense that nobody saw coming, and it has instantly become one of the most talked about stories of this postseason. Now, let's set the stage. The Seattle Valkyries, one of the most exciting up-and-coming franchises in basketball, were entering these playoffs with hopes soaring higher than ever. A strong regular season, a star-studded roster, a loyal fan base that has embraced this team as the new pride of the Pacific Northwest, and an ownership group that has poured everything into building a winning culture. Expectations weren't just high, they were sky high. Pundits believed the Valkyries could shock the league, maybe even go on a Cinderella run and make noise against the established powers. But the dream came crashing down in brutal fashion. A stunning playoff exit, quicker than anyone expected, left fans stunned and critics licking their chops. Fingers started pointing immediately at the coach, at the players, and especially at the owner. That's where this story takes a sharp turn, because Draymond Green, a man never known for silence, a man whose voice has carried across the NBA for more than a decade, decided to speak out. And not just with a passing comment, but with a passionate defense of the Valkyries owner. In an era where athletes are often cautious about wading into other franchises' business, Draymond has once again gone against the grain. He defended the very heart of the Valkyries' leadership, and the way he did it has sent shockwaves across social media, sports shows, and locker rooms. So, what exactly did Draymond say? In his trademark style, he didn't mince words. He said the owner should not be scapegoated for what happened in this playoff series. He insisted that ownership has done everything right in building this franchise and that sometimes, basketball is just cruel. Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. Sometimes the players fail to execute, sometimes injuries pile up, and sometimes the better team just wins. But what Draymond refused to accept was the narrative that the Valkyries owner is to blame. He said it's lazy analysis, it's unfair, and it's disrespectful to someone who has put their heart, their money, and their entire reputation on the line to give Seattle fans something to believe in. Hearing those words from Draymond was powerful, because this is not a man who hands out free passes easily. This is not someone who bites his tongue. If he thought the owner was part of the problem, you better believe he would have said so. Instead, he doubled down on the idea that leadership should be recognized for what it has built, not torn apart for one disappointing playoff result. And for fans of the Valkyries, hearing Draymond of all people defend their team's owner was shocking, unexpected, and strangely comforting. But why did Draymond feel the need to say this? That's the big question. What connection does he have to the Valkyries? Why does he care so much? Well, that's where this story gets even more fascinating. Behind the scenes, there's been a growing relationship between Draymond and the Valkyries organization. He's been spotted courtside at their games, he's been in conversations with players, and he's even praised the ownership group before for the way they've embraced the community. Some speculate that Draymond sees the Valkyries as a symbol of the next generation of basketball culture, a team that reminds him of the Warriors when they were first trying to break through and prove themselves to the world. Others believe Draymond has genuine friendships within the ownership group, and when he saw the criticism pouring in, he simply couldn't stay silent. And let's not forget this is Draymond Green we're talking about. The same Draymond who has gone toe-to-toe with LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and some of the biggest names in the sport. The same Draymond who has fought through adversity, suspensions, controversies, and constant media scrutiny. He knows what it's like to be in the crosshairs of public opinion. He knows what it feels like to have your character questioned, to have your commitment doubted, to be turned into a headline that doesn't tell the full story. Maybe, just maybe, Draymond saw in the Valkyries owner the same kind of unfair criticism that he himself has faced for years. And maybe, in defending them, he was also speaking from his own scars. The timing of this defense is also worth noting. The Valkyries are reeling from their playoff disappointment, and the noise around them has been deafening. Sports talk shows have labeled their season a failure. Fans on social media have gone from praising the ownership to calling for changes, and rival executives are already questioning whether Seattle can bounce back. In moments like these, when the storm is at its loudest, a voice like Draymond's carries weight. He is not just another retired analyst or talking head. He is a current player, a champion, a future Hall of Famer, and someone who has lived the pressure cooker of playoff basketball. When he says this isn't on ownership, people listen. It changes the conversation. It forces the critics to pause and reconsider. Of course, not everyone agrees with Draymond. Some believe his defense was misplaced. They argue that ownership always bears responsibility, no matter what. They say that if the team fails, it starts at the top, and no amount of spending or community engagement excuses the lack of playoff success. And that's the beauty of this debate, it isn't black and white. Ownership, coaching, players, front office decisions, injuries, they all blend together into the complicated reality of winning and losing in the NBA. But Draymond's point was simple: don't let the easy narrative overshadow the bigger truth. Don't ignore the progress, the foundation, and the vision that has been built just because of one painful moment. And let's be honest, this isn't the first time Draymond Green has made headlines for defending someone. Over the years, we've seen him stand up for teammates, coaches, and even rivals. We've seen him call out media narratives that he thinks are unfair. We've seen him clash with critics in press conferences, on his podcast, and even in heated on-court interviews. Love him or hate him, Draymond has always believed in using his voice. And in this case, that voice may have given the Valkyries owner exactly the boost they needed in one of their toughest moments. The reaction online has been massive. Social media exploded as clips of Draymond's comments went viral. Valkyries fans began thanking him. Warriors fans debated whether he should even be wading into another team's issues, and neutral fans admitted they didn't expect to see Draymond Green of all people turn into the defender of an NBA owner. Memes spread quickly, with some joking that Draymond might as well join the Valkyries front office after his playing days are over. Others speculated whether he has long-term business interests tied to the team. But beyond the jokes and theories, the core reaction was one of shock and respect. Because whether you agree with Draymond or not, you can't deny that he chose a bold path when silence would have been easier. And let's take a step back here. Think about what this means for the future of the Valkyries. They are now in the headlines not just for their playoff failure, but for the way a respected NBA champion has put his credibility on the line to defend them. That changes the perception. Free agents notice things like this. Coaches notice things like this. The league notices when one of its most outspoken players takes a stand for a team that many might otherwise dismiss. Suddenly, the Valkyries aren't just another playoff casualty. They are a franchise worth talking about, worth defending, and worth watching. Draymond Green has always been more than just a player. He's a culture setter, a voice of the game, and someone who will continue to influence basketball long after he retires. In defending the Valkyries owner, he has once again reminded us that basketball is not just about what happens between the lines. It's about narratives, it's about perception, it's about leadership, and it's about the voices willing to shape the conversation. And for better or worse, Draymond Green has just shaped this one. As we move forward, one thing is certain: this won't be the last time Draymond makes headlines this postseason. Whether it's on the court with the Warriors, behind the microphone on his podcast, or in front of the cameras with his fiery commentary, he will keep giving us reasons to listen. But for now, his defense of the Valkyries owner stands out as one of the most surprising, most talked about, and most human moments of this entire playoff run. And in a season full of drama, injuries, upsets, and controversy, that's saying a lot. The Valkyries' journey isn't over. Yes, the playoff dream is dead for this year, but their story is still being written. And thanks to Draymond Green, that story now includes a chapter where one of the NBA's loudest voices chose to speak up when it mattered most. Whether you agree with him or not, whether you believe ownership should take the blame or not, one thing is undeniable: Draymond Green has once again made us stop, think, and talk.